walked into the school hallway, your bag slung over one shoulder. You approached your locker hoping for a quiet start to your day. But as you opened your locker door, your eyes widened in disbelief. There is a paper tapped to the inside of your locker with ridiculous drawing of yours with exaggerated features. Jungkook, you murmured under your breath, your face turning red with anger, as it was done by him, your bully. You grabbed the drawing and turned to your side to find him. Just then you saw Jungkook leaning against you by closing your locker door, casually chewing gum with a smug look on his face. Enjoying the artwork? He asked with a playful grin. You think you're so funny, don't you? You snapped your fingers while showing the drawing at his face. What is this supposed to be? He shrugged, unfazed by your anger. Just a little something to brighten your day. Brighten my day? More like ruining my morning, he said while crumpling the drawing in your hand. Don't you have anything better to do? Teasing me all the time, he laughed, the sound echoing. Nah, teasing you is my favorite hobby. You make it too easy. Why don't you find a new hobby? You shot back, crossing your arms over your chest. Maybe I will, he said, leaning in a little closer. But where's the fun in that? You glared at him, feeling your frustration bubble over. You're impossible, Jungkook, and you're adorable when you're angry, he teased, his grin widening. You groaned, throwing your hands up in air. You're so annoying. That's what makes me charming, he replied, giving you a wink. You rolled your eyes and turned to walk away. I don't have time for this. He smiled at your disappearing figure. See you around, YM. You walked into the classroom still fuming from the encounter with Jungkook. You spotted John, the class president, and gave him a small smile. John was always friendly and kind to you, and right now you needed a bit of that kindness. Hey Wine, how is it going? He greeted with his warm smile. Not bad, you said, shaking your head. John chuckled softly. You guys were talking some random stuff until Jungkook arrives. He stood near the classroom door and was looking at him angrily and at you with jealousy. Anytime, Wine, if you ever need someone to talk, I'm here. He said sincerely, according to you, but not for Jungkook. Before you could respond, Jungkook walked into the classroom. His eyes immediately narrowed, he stormed over, and his jaw clenched. John, stay away from Wine, he demanded, his voice cold and hard. John raised an eyebrow, smirking slightly. Why should I? I know what you're talking. Just stay out of her. He said rudely, that's what you felt. You looked between the two boys, confused and annoyed. Jungkook, stop it. You stay away from me. His eyes softened for a moment as he looked at you. I'm just trying to protect you from him. I don't need your protection, you shouted, turning away from him and headed to your seat. He watched you go, then turned back to Jungkook with a smirk. Looks like she doesn't want you around either. Shut up, John, he growled, his face clenching. You sat at your desk fuming. You couldn't understand why Jungkook was acting this way. Later, Jungkook took seat beside you as it was both of your bench. Your teacher made you guys sit like that. The teacher entered the classroom and started the lesson, but Jungkook just lay there, his head resting on his folded arms. He didn't even bother to look up. Jungkook, you whispered, poking his arm gently. Why aren't you paying attention? He turned his head slightly but didn't lift it from the desk. Stay away from me, he said little seriously like the way you told earlier. You bit your lower lip feeling a guilt. You realized he must have been hurt by your earlier words. You leaned closer, trying to catch his eye. Hey, I'm sorry for what I said earlier, you whispered sincerely. Jungkook finally lifted his head, his eyes meeting yours deeply before he looked away. He gave a small nod but remained silent, his expression still cold. You sighed, feeling the tension between you. You wanted to make things right. I didn't mean to hurt your feelings, I was just really upset, you said softly. He shrugged, sitting up a bit straighter but still not looking directly at you. It's whatever, he mumbled. The teacher continued to explain the lesson, but you found it hard to focus. You kept glancing at Shankar, wondering what he was thinking. You could see the tightness in his jaw and the way he fiddled with his pen, saying he was clearly still upset. Are you okay? You asked, quietly trying one more time to talk to him. He took a deep breath and finally looked at you. I just don't like seeing you with that guy, he said, and his voice barely above a whisper. You were surprised. Do you mean? He cut you off in the middle. Nothing. Leave it. You nodded silently. For the rest of the class, you noticed he was glancing at you with a softer expression. You felt relieved knowing he became normal, and you smiled slightly before looking away as he caught you. Next morning, you stood on the street pleading with your landlord, Mr. Kim, who was shouting loud enough for the entire neighborhood to hear. Please, Mr. Kim, just a little more time. I will have the money by the end of the month, I promise. You begged, your voice trembling. You have been saying that for 2 months, Wine. I need that rent now, or you're out, he said with frustration. You were an orphan studying in high school on a scholarship. Life had never been easy for you, but you tried your best to stay strong. You had no family to turn, and every day was a struggle to make ends meet. At last, he agreed to give time for you upon neighbor's request. Your eyes are filled with tears of relief. Thank you, Mr. Kim. Thank you so much, you said, bowing deeply. You turned to the neighbors, your voice shaking with gratitude. Thank you, everyone. I don't know what I would do without your help. As the crowd dispersed, you wiped your tears and took a deep breath. You were overwhelmed by the kindness of your neighbors, but the stress of your situation still weighed heavily on your heart. That night, as you lay in your bed, the weight of your struggles struck your mind. You tossed and turned on the bed, unable to find peace. Tears formed at the corner of your eyes as you thought about your parents, the only family you had ever known. Gazing out of your window, you saw the stars twinkling in the night sky. In that quiet moment, you felt a sharp pain of longing for your parents. You imagined them as the brightest stars watching in the sky. Why did you leave me alone in this world? I miss you so much, I whispered to the stars, your voice barely above a whisper. The tears flowed freely now as you poured out your heart to the night sky. You talked to your parents as if they were still there, telling them about your struggles and your fears. You wished you could feel their comforting embrace, hearing their positive words. But you all had were the stars shining down on you with silent understanding, and in that moment you felt a glimmer of hope, a belief that maybe, just maybe, your parents were still with you in spirit. As you wiped away your tears, you made a silent promise to yourself to keep fighting, to never give up. You may be alone in this world, but you were determined to make your parents proud. With that thought in your heart, you drifted to sleep, the stars watching over you like guardian angels in the night. The next morning, you arrived at school with sad face. You were thinking about how to pay rent. With exams approaching, you hadn't been able to take any part time work, and now you found yourself drowning in debt. Lost in your worries, you barely noticed the usual hustle and bustle of the school hallway. Students chattered and laughed around you, but you felt disconnected, your mind elsewhere. As you walked to your locker, Jungkook appeared beside you with his usual mischievous grin. Hey man, ready for another day of torture? You clenched your jaw as you lost patience. Not now, Jungkook, I have enough to deal with. But he just laughed. Come on, don't lie. What's got you so worked up? Your frustration boiled over and you turned around at him and your voice sharp with anger. I said not now, Jungkook. Can't you see I'm not in the mood? His smile faded for a moment, but then he recovered, reaching out to playfully flick your forehead. Ow, don't be like that, Mine. You know I'm just messing around. But you had reached your breaking point with a growl of frustration. You yanked his hand away, your eyes filled with anger. I said, leave me alone. He froze, his eyes widening in surprise. He had never seen you this angry before. You were usually so calm and composed, but now you were full of anger. Wine, he started to say, but you cut him off, your voice trembling with emotion. Just go away, Jungkook. I don't want to talk to you right now. He said firmly and walked away. He looked at your disappearing figure and felt concern towards you. As you never behaved like this, he was feeling guilty for behaving like that with you. That morning you sat silently in the classroom, your mind consumed by your worries. You barely discerned the lessons being taught, your thoughts drifting to your financial troubles. Jungkook noticed your absent mood and felt a sharp pain of concern. He had never seen you like this before and it bothered him. During lunch break, he searched the campus for you, but you were nowhere to be found. He thought you were in the rooftop and quickly came there. Then he found you sitting alone, tears streaming down your face. His heart ached by seeing you crying alone. Without hesitation, he approached you. He reached out and gently kissed your face, causing you to startle and look up at him with wide tears filled eyes. Mine, what's wrong? He asked softly, his voice filled with genuine concern. You sniffled, trying to compose yourself. It's nothing, Shankar, just some personal stuff. He shook his head, his expression determined. No, it's clearly something. Please talk to me. You don't have to go through this alone. You hesitated for a moment, but his concern made you open up. You told him about your rent problem. His heart sank at your words. He had no idea you were struggling so much. Without hesitation, he pulled you into a tight hug, wrapping his arms around you in trembling form. I'm so sorry, Vine. I had no idea you were going through this, but I'm here for you now, okay? You are not alone. You buried your face in his chest, feeling the warmth of his embrace covers you like a comforting blanket. You let yourself cry, letting out all the pent up emotions you had been holding up inside. In that moment, you felt a sense of relief wash over you, knowing that someone cared enough to be there for you in your darkest hour. As he held you close, offering silent comfort and support, you realized that maybe, just maybe, everything was going to be okay after all. As the day drew to a closer, you came to your house and was scared to see landlord there. Mr. Kim, Mine, I'm sorry for behaving like that in the morning. I should have seen your situation. These are the house documents and this house is yours from now. He said, handing you papers and keys. You were shocked and you didn't understand anything for a while until something struck your brain. What are you saying, Mr. Kim? Did anyone threaten you? No one threatened me. I just realized I should have humanity. You were suspicious to see red marks on his cheeks and arms. Don't lie to me, Mr. Kim. Is this guy who did this? You showed Jungkook's photo to him and he was scared immediately. With that you understand Jungkook did all this. Jungkook, you rushed to the school basketball court knowing he would be there for basketball practice. Jungkook surrounded by his teammates, a smirk playing on his lips as he practiced his shots. Without hesitation, you approached him, your heart pounding in your chest. Jungkook, you called out, your voice trembling with an emotion. He stopped practice and came to you, his expression softening when he saw the tears in your eyes. Wine, what's wrong? Tears welled up in your eyes as you struggled to find the words. Did you do this? You asked, showing keys and papers, and his smirk faded away. He nodded slowly, his gaze never leaving yours. Yeah, it was me. Your heart skipped a bit at his confession. You couldn't believe the guy who used to tease and bully you had gone out of his way to help you in your time of need. Why would you do that for me? You whispered, your voice barely above a whisper. He stepped closer, his eyes filled with sincerity. Because I can't stand to see tears in your eyes, Wine. I care about you more than you know. Your breath caught in your throat as you processed his words. You had never imagined that someone like Jungkook, a wealthy and popular guy, could have feelings for you, a girl from poor background. But Jungkook, I'm not compatible with your standards. You said looking down, then he cubed your face and made you look at him. I don't care about materials as long as we love each other. All I care about is about you. I want to know your answer. Tell me, do you love me? You saw genuine love in his eyes and you nodded slowly, realizing you feel the same about him. Thank you, Wine. I love you. I'm so happy right now. He pressed his lips against your forehead where you chuckled through tears. But on one condition, he was frozen with shock. I don't want you to buy a house for me. I will stand myself. I will earn by myself. If you want us to be together, don't force me to take the house. I will pay you the rent with interest in 2 months. He chuckled at your determination. He understands you're a girl with high self-respect. He nodded and took papers from you. Then you immediately threw yourself in his embrace and felt his warmth. Love you, Jungkook. And you buried your face in his chest, breathing in his familiar scent. You couldn't help but smile through your tears. For in the arms of the boy who had once been your bully, you had found your comfort, your protector, and your greatest love. Thank you for watching.